Hey, nuggets of gold, friends, family, and newcomers. A bit of irony. This was not pre-planned. I'm sitting here in a parking lot of a movie theater. Actually, a movie theater that I used to sneak over to for years and years. Whenever I could grab just a little slice of time, sneak away from work, sneak away from school, sneak out of the house sometimes as a teenager, I'd go to the movie theater because my heart, my mind, just got really excited about movie stuff. Not necessarily wrong in and of itself, but I gave so much time, so much attention, so much zeal in my heart to movies. And as I sit here now, years later, it's contrasted by what I did this morning. Again, this is not intentional for this nugget, but what I did this morning is I got up extra early so that I could get my exercise in, so I didn't indulge my body comforts. And then I spent time making my kids a homemade breakfast and made them lunch and drove them to school. And so here, just in a tiny nutshell, a nugget within a nugget, what I have discovered over the years of walking with Jesus is that I find more satisfaction, more joy through disciplining my body and loving others much more than I ever found joy and satisfaction in indulging my personal desires or my selfish desires. And I just want to highlight that now. I'm going to pick a card. We're going to do a quick card, but your joy, your satisfaction will come as you set yourself second, or as you set yourself third, or as you set yourself off the list and seek to live a healthy, others-centered, Jesus-infused, Jesus-empowered life. Let's grab a card right here. Psalm 121. What do we have? We have some mountains here. Psalm 121. It's the first two verses of Psalm 121 says, I lift up my eyes to the hills. Where does my help come from? My help comes from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth. I'm going to pause and pray, and we're going to come back with a short thought about Psalm 121. I lift up my eyes to the hills. Where does my help come from? My help comes from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth. Let's pause and pray with me. There is a collection of psalms, most of the psalms in the 120 category, that the Israelites were known to sing while they were journeying to Jerusalem to celebrate Passover each year. Psalm 121 is a psalm they would have sang, words that they would have meditated on as they made that journey through the wilderness and through mountain passes. And so in the psalm starts, I lift up my eyes to the hills. They were literally doing that as they went through miles and miles of barren land. I lift up my eyes to the hills. Where does my help come from? And then it says, my help comes from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth. One of the thoughts that they could have had, one of the thoughts that the thought I want to draw us to today is that they were intentionally looking out at the big things in creation. I lift up my eyes to the hills. Where does my help come from? And then they were connecting that, these massive things that are in creation, the massive mountains, or if you've ever been to the ocean, the massive ocean, or to a huge lake, or a thunderstorm. I lift up my eyes to these massive forces of creation, and I remember that my help comes from the God who made these things. The God who made this mountain stand firm is the God whose strength will go with me as I depend on him and walk in his ways. The God who filled up this ocean with H2O molecules and put it in place is the God who has the ability to move me forward through my difficulties as I seek him. So be reminded today that you can lift up your eyes into creation. Maybe it's a tree. Maybe it's the stars. Maybe it's the moon. Maybe it's a flower. Maybe it's a mountain. and meditate on the God who put that there. And remember what the Israelites did. My help comes from the same God who made this, the maker of heaven and earth. What a God he is. Heart, trust him today, who is mighty. Trust him more than yourself. Trust in this God who made heaven and earth. We'll see you next time.